Hey folks, Ray from LoveYourRV.com, and I'm back today to start repairing the cracks in my waste tanks. If you saw the video where I went to check tank capacity, I discovered two small cracks at the top of a gray tank and a black tank. I asked people for recommendations on repairing it, and I want to thank everybody for all their suggestions. If you've just seen this video and you have a cracked tank, maybe go to the description and I'll link back to that video and go through all the comments. There's tons of good suggestions there. I ended up deciding on a product called Plastimend. These are black ABS tanks, and this is designed exactly for that. So I read it there on their website. It was designed by an old RV tech back in the day, kind of made his own little formula up for repairing the tanks, and they use a bunch of different solvents and stuff, but what it does is it's sort of like a chemical weld. There's several ways to repair the tanks from the reading I've done. There's plastic welding, which involves some specialized tools to heat it up, and I think I'd have to pull the tanks out to attempt that because it's in a very awkward space in my RV. There's all kinds of topical glues and things like that, like liquid nails. A lot of people suggested Flex Seal tape or Flex Seal. Lots of different things like JB Weld, all kinds of different things. But this is specially made for it, so I decided to go with this. There was 3 or 4 people that recommended it and said they had really good luck with it. And reading online, it looks like a lot of people have had good luck with it. So I'm going to go with that. Hopefully I'll be able to repair it with the tanks in the rig. If it ends up failing, I might just have to pull the tanks out and do something like a plastic weld or something. But my cracks are pretty small. They're only a couple inches, so and being at the top of the tank is kind of beneficial to me. Anyway, this is the kit you get. I think it was around $35–40. Got it shipped up here to Canada even, I think, but I had to pay duty through UPS and stuff. So came for me with the exchange. It was $80 or $90 for the little kit. What's in the kit? We got a solvent here, so you can clean the tank. It's like a cleaner primer. So it'll make sure the surface is really clean before I go to town on that. I get a little Brillo pad to clean off and rough it up. You get 2 brushes, I guess one for the solvent and one for the main repair. So this stuff gets kind of painted on, and it actually melts into the existing plastic and bonds right into it. So you paint a coat or so of that on it, and then you add some of this mesh material, pushing it in with the paintbrush, and you let that set up, and then you go back a few hours later and you go over it again. And you can go over a few coats. They say don't do more than 2 coats a day. The dry time is, I think, 3 or 4 hours to get it nice and dry. They sent out quite a pages here. I got about 6 or 7 pages. It repairs a lot of different things. Like some people use it to repair their motorcycle fairings and their stuff in boats. It'll repair most plastics except for polyethylene plastic, which is that whitish type of plastic that's on your water tanks. Usually fresh water tanks are usually that milky looking white plastic, or fuel tanks a lot of times. This stuff doesn't do that, but it does all kinds of other, they say, motorcycle auto parts, car top, cargo boxes, holes of any size, cracks, even modify or build special tanks or parts. Works by chemically melting an application of plastic resins into the existing plastic, creating a new layer ABS plastic bonded into the original plastic. So that's kind of cool. One thing though is on the second page here, in red, big warnings. Exposure to solvents in Plastimend without proper precautions can be damaging, even fatal. So you have to make sure you're protected when you use this, and it's also very flammable. So I went and bought myself a mask for doing solvents and paints to protect myself. So let's get to it. I think I'll start off and do the gray tank first here, and show you the process, see how it goes. I don't think your beagle nose is going to like this, so I think you're going to have to stay out of this project there. Okay, so I'm underneath the rig, and first I'm going to do the gray tank here. So I've this rail, I've kind of undid the bolts that hold it to the I-beam and just pushed it off over slightly, and then used a piece of lumber just to give it to some support. Just put it on the hanger there. Just enough. The tank's empty, so it's really lightweight. I just pushed it over enough that I can get some area to work with. So first things first, I think I'm going to go and give that a really good cleaning with some simple green. And then I'll rough it up with the Brillo pad there, the Scotch pad. And then I can use that primer cleaner to get the surface prepped for the Plasti-Men material. You have a pretty good big area that goes beyond the crack. Got her all roughed up, so I'm going to don my vapor mask and use the Plasti-Men primer to clean that area and get it ready. That smells like a nail polish remover. You can see it takes a bit of black off the tank, so it just takes a little bit of a top layer off, I guess. Gets all the dirt off, gets it all ready. Kind of feels a bit sticky now. Okay, so I added a coat, first layer coat, then I've added some of that mesh on top of the first layer there. Look at this stuff. Kind of got the consistency of like honey, so now I'll put another coat on top of that mesh. There we go. The first couple coats on with that mesh in there. Stuff starts to set up pretty fast. Don't even smell it. Just 5 minutes later, I don't even smell the stuff. So I thought maybe it would last a long time, but that solvent seems to evaporate really quickly. They actually say you got to get the lid back on the can really quick or it starts to go off. So anyway, now I have to let that sit a few hours and I can come back and do a second coat. So I'll continue on with the black tank. So I've let that set now for a few hours and it's hardened up quite a bit. So that's what they call the first coat, and then they say to apply another coat after a few hours and then let that set for 24 hours. Then could be good to go, or I could apply more coats if I like, but it feels like it's hardening up quite well, so I'll put another coat on there now. Okay, there we go. Yeah, look at that. Actually looks like it's going to work. So I'll let that sit for 24 hours. We'll come back and take a look at how it's set up. $24 later, everything feels nice and hard on that. Looks good, looks good. I'll show you the black tank here. Black tank one. Oops. There we go. Same thing. Okay, so it looks like the patch has worked. I filled up those tanks, no leaks, so should be good to go now. So they say this stuff has a pretty good shelf life, and if you store it upside down, helps out as well. So I'll hang on to that stuff. If I have any cracks in the future, I'll be able to repair it on the road. And I'll come back after I've used the tanks for a few months and let you know how it worked out, whether cracks developed again. So thanks for watching. Until next time, Ray from LoveYourRV.com. Happy trails, folks. Cheers.